Good day. So for today's video, I'm going to tackle about our material or economical self. All of us have this material self. In the words of William James, a man's self is the sum total of all that he can call his. Our body, family, reputation, also clothes, houses, land, accessories, or the tangible matter that considered as ours are part of our material self. Let's be open to the reality. The more we invest of ourselves in these objects, the more attracted we inevitably are to them. Psychologists who study the impact of wealth and inequality on human behavior have found that money can powerfully influence our thoughts and actions in ways that they're often not aware of, no matter what our economic circumstances are. Curtis of 2017 manifested that cash can have serious bearing on one's belief regarding the way a person views him or herself. The following evidences behind the idea that money can change people. First is social and business value. Heyman and Early of 2004 surmised that there are two motivations for completing a given task. The first is social. By recognizing the task's social value, a person sees it as a worthy investment of time and part of his or her social duty, and he or she is usually happy to help out. But when money is offered as the motivation, however, people start thinking less of the social aspect and more about business value. That means the more money received, the more frequent visits and more tasks done. If less money is paid, the lesser the chances of coming back, with may alibis and excuses given. Second is the self-sufficiency and service. When given a very difficult and even impossible task, with instructions that help was available, it was the money-related group that seemed that most intent in getting the job done alone, even when it is not possible to finish the task solo. Third, the self-view. The amount of earned could have an effect on how he or she both himself and herself and others. The wealthiest people are those with deeper sense of class essentialism. When we say class essentialism, it is an idea that difference between classes are based upon identity and genetics rather than circumstance. Number 4 is the ethics. Those who perceive themselves to be in a higher class were the most likely to engage in an unethical behavior, particularly when a symbol of wealth was introduced, such as cutting off a pedestrian when in a luxury car, for example. And the last one is addiction. Many addictions given because a person gets a positive from a certain type of behavior, whether it's a happy feeling that one gets from shopping or a thrill that comes from gambling, actively seeking out that behavior again and again for same outcome that trigger an addiction. This is also called the behavioral or process addiction. This is a compulsive behavior not motivated by dependency on an addictive substance, but rather by a process that leads to a seemingly positive outcome. Shaping the way we see ourselves. The rules of consumer culture on our sense of self and identity. The first one is possessions of the extended self. The premise that people regard their possession as part of themselves is not new. If possessions are viewed as part of self, it allows that an intentional loss of possession should be regarded as a loss of listening of self. Another instance in which non-voluntary loss of possessions may bring about a diminished sense of self in when possessions are lost due to theft or casualty. Handbag snatching can produce not only a financial but also an emotional long-term effect on victims. Juliet's score of 1998 calls the cycle of work and spend. Work more to buy more. Second is the special cases of extended self. The first one is collection. The second one is the pets as extended self, and the last one is body parts. So material self refers to all the physical elements that reflect who a person is, which includes his or her body, possessions, and home. The body is the innermost part of the material self. The family, home, and clothes from a person's material self. Furthermore, practical interest of a person is part of his or her material self, which includes the instinctive impulsive of collecting property. Luxury and materialism are byproducts of material self. Materialism refers to the theory or belief that nothing exists except matter, its movement, and its modifications. The theory of belief that consciousness and will are wholly due to material agency. A tendency to consider material possessions and physical comfort are more important than spiritual values. Finally, as we shape the way we see ourselves and develop our sense of self and identity, reflecting to this familiar statement might help you. People were created to be loved, and things were created to be used. The reason why the world is in so much chaos right now is because people are being used and things are being loved. That would be all. Thank you.